Hey guys, so I just wanted to make this will probably not be a quick video. Who am I kidding? But I just wanted to make a video. Sorry. I don't even know where to begin. Right now I'm so frustrated and just irritated, I guess you could say. I wouldn't say like the medical field in general. But I feel like in the town I'm in, I can't trust but 2 or 3 doctors. Yesterday I had an appointment with my primary doctor, and while I was there, essentially you could say I crashed. It wasn't like POTS related or anything. My heart rate was okay, but my blood pressure had spiked and I couldn't talk. My throat was numb and my right arm had gone completely numb and weak. And I was just not with it at all. I have no idea. I was so confused. I didn't know why I was at the doctor's office. I didn't know like anything. It was weird. So they took me over to the ER because he was afraid that I was having a stroke. And luckily the doctor's office is only like 2 blocks away. And so I was in the ER for a long time, but the symptoms resolved within, I'd say, an hour of me being there, a little over an hour maybe. And they did CAT scans and it was weird. I definitely didn't know what was going on. And when I do recall what was going on, they said, I wasn't oriented to anything, place, time, name. I could hardly talk. So they said that it concerned them, and I say that quotations marks because I found out more information this morning. But like they did a bunch of tests, they did a bunch of lab work, and it took them 6 sticks to get enough blood to do like the little amount of tests that they wanted to do, and they still didn't have enough blood. And so the doctor ended up just canceling tests because he said, well, you can't get the blood. And I think it's funny, like, because the doctor was in there a part of the time, and he really is a really good doctor. But they couldn't warm my arms up, like, especially my right arm, and my left arm doesn't have veins at all. And they had my arm, I remember this because this was after I had gone back to my normal cognitive status. Gosh, talking's still kind of hard today. But they had my arm wrapped in heated blankets, and they had hot packs on my arm, like on the bottom and the top, and my hands, and they left them there for like 20 minutes, and they came back, and it was still ice cold. And the left arm wasn't nearly as bad. I mean, it would warm up fast, but they couldn't find a vein, so they weren't going to stick it. But he was even like, wow, you really just don't have any blood. And it was clotting rather quickly. Like, granted, it did take them almost an hour to get blood from me, but it was still clotted, and it shouldn't have clotted the way it was clotting in the tube. And they were amazed. He was like, "Are you sure you're hydrated?" And I was like, "I am as hydrated as I get." And like when lab tests came back, he was just like, "You're hydrated, and your blood even shows it, even though we couldn't get any." Which, it was kind of like he was blaming me for that. Like I had control over that or something. I don't know. Um, but it was annoying to say the least, because he comes in, he goes, "Well, you might have had a TIA. You need to start taking aspirin. Your blood's a little thicker than it should be." And he goes, "And your lab works fine." So I left probably like 8:30 last night. I left, and my primary doctor had come to see me while I was there to see how progress was. And I think he was hoping that they would admit me and at least observe me overnight to make sure nothing happened. But they didn't, because he had come in, he was concerned because I was much paler than I normally am for me, and I'm pretty pale. And everyone there was saying the same thing, but it was just annoying. And at one point, they had taken me. I had to go to the bathroom, so they escorted me, and I did not mean to shake that. And the hospitalist that was working was just like, "We're not admitting her. This is what she normally does." And it was just like, I've never been to this ER for this. Thanks. Like, it just was really frustrating because she just automatically, she wasn't supposed to come back to work at our hospital anyway, but she automatically assumes everything in first impressions what she goes by. And so she won't admit me to the hospital for any of my potassium or magnesium problems or for my heart rate issues, because for her it's my normal and there's nothing that can be done about it. So she says there's no point in doing anything. So she said that, and like one of the nurses was like, "Well, she's not really in for that, but okay." So one of the nurses, like a couple of the nurses, actually stuck up for me, which I was grateful about. But they discharged me. They did start me on aspirin, which I can't take. It makes me really sick, but I did promise to try to at least take a baby dose. If I take anything like the 325 milligram tablets or higher, I get so sick. But I went this morning to follow up with the neurologist because they had called him last night, and Dr. McCracken had talked to him as well. And he was like, "You had a TIA, why didn't they keep you?" And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea what was even going on. I felt like I was being shuffled from place to place. They did 3 different CAT scans on me. They did one of my head as soon as I got there. And then after blood work came back, they saw that my D-dimer test, which is the test for blood clots, was very high. So they did CAT scans of my chest and my stomach to make sure I didn't have a blood clot anywhere in any major location. And it all came back fine, which is the first time that's happened to me. And that's why they want me on the aspirin, is because my blood needs to be a little thinner. But he was just like, "I'm really confused. They should have at least monitored you until they could get your blood a little thinner." I don't really have much of a say in it. when I'm the patient in the hospital and I barely saw the doctor. I think he came in the room like 3 times, and the nurse maybe 4, maybe. I would maybe give that 4. She probably came in like 3. In the like 8, 9 hours I was there. So, I mean, I don't think that's great practice. I know they weren't full, because I was right there at the desk, so I knew what was going on, but I thought it was very inappropriate. But come to find out today, because the neurologist, um, got the information off the computer, because he's linked to the hospital stuff, that, the ER doctor had written that there was a possibility that some of it was psychologically caused, which I think really threw the neurologist over, because he was just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you were at the doctor's office when this happened." And I was like, I know." And come to find out, some of my blood tests that couldn't come back were not good necessarily. Not good things at all. Like, I guess they were just looking at the major things, but like, I had a couple things that were high that shouldn't be high, and my liver enzymes were slightly elevated again, which they come back to normal. So, I mean, that should have been a cause for concern. So the neurologist was very upset, to say the least. But like, looking back over it, it makes me want to not go to this ER even more. And I'm tempted to drive or travel for 2 hours to go to an emergency room full of doctors who actually know what they're doing, because especially in the ER, I think they're just going, nothing's real. And there was, like, you could look at me, and even the phlebotomy techs were just like, you can tell something's wrong with this arm. The doctor noted that my reflexes were a little diminished, and I failed the Sharper Dole test, my arm and my face, but they claimed that it was psychologically caused, or there was a possibility it was psychologically caused, because the CAT scan was normal, which I think is funny, because if you're having a TIA, it doesn't show up on a CAT scan, even if you have a stroke, unless you're having like a hemorrhagic stroke where you're actively bleeding in your brain, it doesn't show up on a CAT scan right away. So I don't know how he could rule it out with just that scan, but I don't know. So it's really, really frustrating, and I don't know what to do. And then today, I went to get the mail a few minutes ago, and I got a letter from my medical school dream, which is Wake Forest, which is where I actually have my electrophysiologist and stuff. And I had applied last summer for this upcoming year. Like, as soon as you could apply, I had already applied. And I've already met with, like, all the deans and everything know me, because I've been meeting with them for the last several years. I had a doctor like 5 years ago who introduced me to them all, and so when I go down there, I stop by and I say hello, and I was offered a full ride. Sorry, whatever, to medical school, but right now with my health, I don't think I can tolerate trying medical school, and it's not one of those things where I want to, try to force my body into doing, because I was told yesterday by my primary doctor that I was doing too much already. And so I have a lot of brain to do, to say the least. I don't know. I just don't know. It's an honor to have like a full ride scholarship to begin with, but I don't know if my body can handle it. So that's now stressing me out today. I haven't really told anybody, so y'all are the first. But I don't know. But yeah, I think I've ranted enough. I'm confused of what I've even said. So I'm gonna go, and I will talk to y'all later. I hope everyone is having a good day, or a good week, and I will talk to y'all later.